Hello, ladies and gentlemen and friends, and welcome to this new edition of Sartorial Talks. Today, we are not in Bourgogne, France. We are in Limoges. You may not know where Limoges is. Limoges is a very important city in the center of France, which is very well known because it has been a shoe place since a long, long time. And this is the cradle of a very famous company called J.M. Weston. If you are in the shoe, if you are a shoe aficionado, you know J.M. Weston. But today we are not at J.M. Weston. We are at a very interesting place, a place which is close to our heart for different reasons. First reason, it's because it's one of the last, if not the last in France, factory who is crafting in a traditional way shoe trees. And you know how shoe trees are important for anybody in love with quality shoes. And so we are at this company called Perfecta. You can say it in French, not Perfecta. In French, we say Perfecta. And we are with Katia Moura, who is the daughter of Mr. Moura, who is the owner of the group SAPHIR.
Yes, exactly.
So, hello, Katia. How do you do?
Hello. Yeah, thank you. Okay. I'm good.
You're a little bit stressed about speaking in English, so tell me the truth. No, not at all. Okay.
No. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
We are at Perfecta. So Perfecta is a company that joined SAPHIR, and it's a great additional for SAPHIR because obviously Perfecta is specialized in the wood industry, whereas SAPHIR is more specialized in shoe care production and creams and everything.
Yeah.
So, but both of the companies are focused on luxury.
Exactly.
On the luxury goods, on the luxury shoe care, on premium, and it can be ready to wear or bespoke shoes.
Yes.
So, and both companies
we're going to go into
match.
details that I just wanted to say hello to you for the moment. Okay. And of course, we are with my beautiful wife, Sonya. How do you feel, Sonya, to be seated at workplace? We call it an établi in French. This is where people are working, and I think it's quite exhilarating.
It's natural. We're in the grassroots area, and it's always nice to just get down to business in terms of what we're really doing here and not be in a meeting room or anything like that. So
exactly.
I appreciate it.
I think so. We decided to do it really in the middle of the atelier to show you this fantastic craft. So shoe trees. The first thing you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, and if you are following this channel since a long time, or maybe if you are new on this channel, is that shoe trees are tremendously important if you want to maintain your shoes. It's something which a lot of people have been overseeing for a long time. They say, okay, I buy shoes, but I don't make the effort to add this piece of wood inside that somebody will say, oh, it's like for decoration. No, it is not. It's very important that a shoe tree can extend the life of your shoes for many, many, many years. And if you buy luxury shoes that are resolable with the correct shoe tree, it can probably survive you. So this is why we wanted to stress the importance of shoe tree. And more important for us is that we are so happy to be here because Perfecta is the last factory in France who is making the shoe trees according to the gospel of shoe trees, that is to say, in a traditional way. And this is for us a joy to be here with you today, Katia. little bit the story. I know you acquired this company a decade ago, pretty much. But before, do you know the story of this company, where it was founded, and what is the roots and the origin of Perfecta?
So Perfecta dates its origin since 1885.
Oh, wow.
So when different fields of cobblers, of shoe manufacturer joined together their force to build this factory. So they were doing last at the past as well.
Okay.
Shoe trees.
So there were last makers. Originally, there were last makers.
With shoe trees together.
With shoe trees also, Okay.
But they did both, and it was more like an association that did this job for the French industry.
Okay.
So Limoges, it's really well known for the leather, because Limoges, it's Limousin in France. It's the name of the cow, and that is really famous.
Yeah,
So
the breed of cows, darling. You didn't know that, huh?
I did not. I knew about the place settings for the table, but being the originator.
La porcelaine de Limoges, but it's also famous for the cows, because it's a breed of cows called Limoges, Limousin. It's from this region. Sorry, I interrupted you.
And so this, so it's well known for the leather industry, and so you named Western, but and it was one region in France known for the making of shoes. And so Perfecta decided to establish here close to their partners. And after Perfecta, the name was established in 1950, where it created their own brand with their shoe tree names. But also Perfecta in the past was also a brand of shoes, of bags. They were reselling all those items as well. But they switched and focused now on more their shoe trees, obviously.
For those among you who don't know, who are not totally into the shoe industry, let me explain quickly to our audience to make sure we don't lose anybody in the process. A last, when Katia said that this company were making last and shoe trees, the last is literally the form of the shoe. And before crafting a shoe with leather, you use a piece of wood which is formed according to the type of model of the shoe you want to create. And this is what we call a last. It's literally the body of the shoe in wood, on which you're going to add the leather, do the sewing and everything, the construction of the shoe. So that is the last. And a shoe tree is very natural, actually, because when you do a last for a shoe, normally, if you go on a bespoke shoe, you will have your shoe tree made exactly as the last. Is that correct? So in this company, so back in the years, they established themselves in order to provide, I suppose, to all the shoe factories around last and shoe trees. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and
it was working very well back in these years.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then a lot of factory closed, some exported from Spain, Portugal, and a lot of other regions. And the last making now in Europe is really little. Same for shoe trees. So, and it's positioned nowadays only for big companies and big corporates that manage to advertise their shoes and keep this quality also of craftsmanship at this level in order to justify the positioning of a premium shoe tree inside.
Of course. In one word, what you say is that most of the cheap shoe trees that you find in shoe stores sometimes, or even online, etc., are bad shoe trees made overseas. I mean,
exactly.
In China, most of the time. Yeah.
Yes. So actually, what is quite sad is that a shoe tree that you buy, mostly cedar shoe tree, are made in China. Unfortunately for us, they are not obliged to write the origin of the shoe tree.
Okay, like this one, for example.
Exactly.
This is cedar. Okay. You've seen this, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of a pink It's pinky, a little bit like that. And this one is broken, huh? By the way, I just told you it's broken. Okay, so it's just, we don't want to show off too much how bad those ones, but these are the regular one. We are not speaking of this kind of stuff here. We are speaking of premium shoe trees that are made the right way and that can be adaptable to different kind of shoes. Because the problem with this, ladies and gentlemen, for me, I explain a little bit technically, is most of the time the heel. The heel it's quite large. This one is kind of refined, but normally they're quite large. And when you buy a shoe tree which is not exactly made for your shoe, or it's not exactly in the same shape of your shoe, it has a tendency. The tendency was normally the goal was to protect your shoe, but it can really be bad for your shoe. So my first advice, and this is not because I am at Perfecta, well, actually a little bit, it's invest in good shoe trees. It's not a big investment, but you will see that it will really help you maintain your shoes. And on top of that, these are sometimes some pieces of art, literally, because we're going to show you in illustration a lot of pictures, but we're going to see that the artisans here, they start from literally a piece of wood, and little by little, after multiple operations, you end up with something like this or like that. I like this one specifically. This is a vintage one, because this company is on the market for decades and decades and even a century. And so you have some marvelous stuff.
We have, so we keep, each time Perfecta kept all its old model from the whole history since it's born. And so we have some this. So the specificity with this is that it has a huge scoop. That is, we only can do by hand,
of course.
So obviously, is someone who is wrapping, as you can like rub like a painting on furniture to get rid of it. This is exactly the same.
To make the hole here, it takes a lot of work. And you know why it's important for me? This is my favorite, not specifically this, but that's one we have no wood inside because of
travel,
because of the weight. You've been seeing me so many times fighting with my baggage excess because of the woods. So this is why when I do bespoke shoes, most of the time I ask them to do that. You wanted to say something?
No, we call that hollowing out the shoe tree. And I have a question. I want to know what, in your view, makes your shoe trees magic compared to other shoe trees.
So first, I would say the type of wood.
So
which is important. So we use different type of wood. So for our range for SAPHIR, we use, for example, beech wood, which is a wood that is better than cedar. First, because it's come from France, Italy, so really close from Perfecta, only a few kilometers away.
So you say it's close, it's important for you in terms of sustainability. Everything you do here are coming from French trees, correct?
Exactly, French and Italian. So which is really important for first, the clients are first really cautious of this issue nowadays, and more with
for environmental protection. We're speaking about that because you told me that this one, for example, it's made in China.
It's awful,
but actually, the wood is produced in the US.
Exactly. So it's shipped all around the globe, just first to get the raw material, and then produced and made in bad condition in China, because you have to know that wood dust is really bad and for cancer.
Very toxic
so
for
it's
the lungs
actually
and
the lungs and everything. So all this dust gets in. And in China, there is no this aspiration that we have all around the factories that takes out all this wood dust.
So you mean that the wood, this cedar wood, is produced in the US. It is sent to China. Then China, they do it in kind of a not optimal way, let's say, for the workers. And then it's shipped back to the customers. So this wood has been rolling around. So this is why you prefer to have French trees that is close to us to avoid all these things from a sustainability perspective.
Exactly.
Well, is this beech wood also, does it have good properties for the shoe tree?
So the property are like, so absorption is really good. We have also lime. that is here.
This one? Okay.
That is really white, and it's a lot of customers love it because of its whiteness
Okay.
and because it's lighter.
Yes.
But now, unfortunately, we have a lot of, and less lime wood available, and we have a shortage, obviously, of forest and everything. So we
really?
prefer to focus now on beech wood for this purpose.
Which has the same properties, or the lime is a little bit better?
Lime, it's not that it's better, it's just lighter. So
Okay.
as you said, when you
Of
travel,
course,
you
of
prefer
course,
it.
of course.
But so beech wood is as good as lime. The only thing is that lime is lighter, but due to the shortage, we now switch everything to beech wood. But
Can you say this is reserved for maybe bespoke shoes mainly?
exactly, so we keep it limited. For example, this one is a shoetrees that we do for Bespoke.
Mhm.
So
That's beautiful, I can tell immediately.
so
This is
This
lime?
is ashwood or
so this is ashwood.
Yes.
Exactly. So
What is
it's
ashwood in French?
ashwood in French is frêne.
Frêne, okay.
Voilà.
Sorry, I just wanted to know.
So it's a special wood. So obviously we do it for Bespoke, so it's more exclusive and we require less quantity of wood.
Yes.
And this sample, what is special is that also it has this charnière.
Mm-hmm.
it's like a folding joint, right?
Yeah, a joint,
Exactly. And we have a scoop as well that is bigger than in the traditional, because this is handmade
Yeah, I can tell.
100%
Oh, wow.
by hand. So
This
you
is
will see
beautiful,
through the process.
ladies and gentlemen. This is really beautiful. And this is made here, strictly by hand. It's made here, okay? And that is for a bespoke shoe, okay? So it means that in this factory, you can produce in quantities for brands. Well, they work for the most well-known luxury brand in the shoe industry. For confidentiality reason, we don't have the right to say them, but you have an idea. These are the biggest name in the industry. They are subcontracting their shoetrees here because they have at Perfecta a know-how that is pretty much nowhere else. So you are the guardian of the temple. I really love this one. Say me again, this wood is ashwood? This is fantastic, even at the touch. It's a really... This is always... For me, it's fascinating shoetrees, ladies and gentlemen, because, okay, it has a utility, of course. It's something that it's very useful for your shoes. But apart from that, I think it's a beautiful object. Maybe I'm a little
Show
bit...
the walnut. This is...
do you have
is
walnut
there
here?
walnut
Yes.
Do we have walnut?
It's this one.
This one is walnut?
And this is
Really?
to me,
my
to the
gosh.
eye, this is gorgeous, and it's almost like art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Walnut
If you
is
look
also
at them.
interesting for shoetrees?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, the difference between the wood is a lot aesthetic, to be
okay.
honest. A lot of customer would say, okay, I prefer this one due to its aesthetic purposes. After, we will differentiate more the absorption
Yes.
depending on the finish. So if it's dye or if there is protection over it or if it's raw. So
Okay.
it's why now more and more customers are asking an unwaxed finish
To absorb
to
the
absorb
sweat,
the
basically.
exactly.
I have a question. If you apply some painting on it or some whatever you call this, is it bad for the absorption capacities of the wood or not? Because I heard that some people say don't add too much in the dyeing process because it offsets the quality of the wood. Is that correct or not? We can tell.
So yeah, I mean, it will affect a little, yes, the absorption impact,
Okay.
but it's still obviously absorbing
Yes.
enough
Yes.
for...
Yeah. But I wanted to, because we have people who are really into the shoe industry on our channel, and they know a lot of people when they buy a lot of shoetrees with a lot of painting on it. They say you should not do that. You can put a little bit, but because you have to respect the natural wood and this anti-perspiration
Do
process.
some people buy it raw like this? They'll buy raw wood, or do you always put some kind of coating on it?
No, we buy it also. We sell it raw.
Raw.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
The only disadvantages with raw finish is that it gets used quicker. So, like in terms of more, when I say used, but it's you will have some stains. You might
Yes.
have some. The sweat obviously dye a bit the shoe tree, so it's not unprotected as
So
well.
if it got really dirty and sweaty, can you wash it, or is there a way to clean these, or you just
No,
never do anything?
it's a patina.
You never do. It's a
Patina.
patina.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes, of
I
course.
Like
like
in
when you
the
do that.
shoe.
That's a
Of
good
course.
excuse not to clean.
So now let's deep dive a little bit more into the product. So what I see here, for example, or even there, I suppose, or here, or I see some curiosity, or even this. This is, I don't know what it was for. A customer asked you to have this on it?
Exactly.
He wanted to have it purple.
Why not?
He was a royal guy or something like that. You don't know? That's
Yeah.
very interesting. So everything that I see here, I understand very well. And you understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is for bespoke shoe. So you go to a bespoke shoemaker and of course is asking Perfecta, according to the last, to do this. But if I have shoes in my closet and I need to buy new shoe trees, but you don't, how can I come to you and say, do I have to give you my shoe that you make a shoe tree, or I can buy a generical shoe tree at your place? Because it's a question a lot of people are asking themselves. Because if you have some rounded shoes, normally the shoe trees that are sold in many shoe shops, they are standard. Whether you have, it doesn't take into consideration the last and the shape of the shoe. And sometimes it can be counterproductive, because if you put a big cedar shoe tree with a round toe on a shoe which is more chiseled, for example, it's not what we expect of it. So how do we resolve this complication?
So we do, as you said, for a lot of brands. So you
Yes.
can buy it if some brands do a specific shoe tree
Yes.
for their specific model of shoes.
So in this case, people buy the shoe tree,
Yeah.
they buy Perfecta, but not knowing it's Perfecta because it's under another brand.
Exactly.
This I understand.
This is okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's the best for the person that is buying their shoes, because they know that it's the perfect class, the perfect shape
Yes.
for their shoes. But as you said, a lot of companies are selling standard and cedar shoe tree.
Yes.
And that's where we come into place with our own brand, which
Yes.
is SAPHIR,
Yes.
which is already well known.
Mm-hmm.
And with the SAPHIR brand, we have different shapes,
Ah, good.
so which enable people to find a more or less
Chiseled or more,
more
round
or more square or
Okay.
different
Is it a scoop that we're doing? Because we probably are the first to speak about that the fact that SAPHIR is now proposing shoe trees through Perfecta, because you are launching, because up to now it was not possible to buy shoe trees directly from you. Is that correct? You had to go through a shoe retailer or whatever.
Exactly.
But now it means that SAPHIR, is that right?
Yes.
Do I understand well?
Yes, it's
You are
correct.
launching
Yes.
a shoe tree that people will be able to buy directly.
And you're
Exactly.
online right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Since how
It's,
many
How do
days?
you go there?
1 week.
Since 1 week, and they sold already 2 pairs. They're at the very beginning. You have to frame the first customer.
Yeah, we will.
It's normal because it's when you start like that, nobody knows that you are doing this, so it takes a little bit of time. But ladies and gentlemen, normally when SAPHIR is doing something, history have shown us that they are doing right. This is the philosophy of your company. And for me, it's a big announcement, because so many people are asking us, where can I find a quality shoe tree, Mr. Jacomet? Because the only shoe tree that we can buy on the market are standard shoe trees, and I'm not sure that it will go well with my Gaziano and Girling, even if normally Gaziano and Girling will sell you the shoe tree. But
You're
it does
probably
know
going
well.
to get the tacky
Yes, and you want to get rid of that because this is not really
Cedar,
quality. So
yes.
show us, I think, okay, to be honest, I knew before asking her the question that they were launching now, they new brand of shoetrees under the brand SAPHIR, of course. And so now you explain to us that you can provide different shape depending on the type of shoe people want, and they can buy directly from you. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Show us the marvels.
And what website, first of all? How do we get there?
It's called SAPHIR.Paris.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
SAPHIR.Paris.
Okay, show us a few examples.
So, this is so we have 5 different models. So the first one in terms of price is this one.
Yeah.
So it's in beach. There is a split.
Mm-hmm.
So the purpose of the split, it's to adapt depending on the shape of the shoe.
Yes.
The shape, especially as we are providing you some standard shoe trees in terms of standard styles of shoe trees. We need to have a certain level of adaptation. So this is why we have the split.
So this one, give it to me. This one, so it's more for, let's say it's a standard round.
Exactly.
Standard round toe. So if you have a Derby or an Oxford, which is rounded, okay, this shoe tree will work very well. Okay,
Exactly.
so it's adaptable in size, of course, and then also in width directly here. So it is beech tree, this one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's already even on the touch. You can touch, darling. It's nice.
To designate your size, what do you have to know?
So this is good question. It's 44, so you have to see that the size of your shoe
Yes.
has to be you normally it's the same, but sometimes if it doesn't go, you can return them and we will send you back.
Yeah.
But perfectly would be the same size of the shoe, the same size of the shoe tree.
Exact
If-
same size.
Yeah. If it doesn't fit, you can go under, obviously.
Okay.
We don't do half sizes, so it has to be one. But the perfect is actually, we don't like to ask to go under, because otherwise the goal is really to get the perfect shape, and if it's too small, it won't take the perfect shape of
So
of
that's
the
your
shoe.
first model. It is
Yes.
for a I would say a universal one, but more adapted to rounded shoes.
Exactly.
And what about this first model? Does it have a name?
Yes, it's intemporel.
On top of
Which can be
So-
translated as timeless. Intemporel means timeless. So it's a universal one,
Exactly.
and more for rounded shoes.
Exactly.
The next one.
So this one is the same, but with like slightly more luxury feeling, because it has this dyed black version. So it's nice with black shoes or with navy. It's kind of a good fit.
Beautiful.
I like.
Yeah, I like that. It works very well. Next
And
one.
What about this? What would you match it with? What style of shoe that you own? Like you said, this was more rounded too.
So
this
this one
the
is the
same.
same.
It's
So
the
It's
same.
the
This
very
one.
same.
It's
Okay.
the same. It's just it has a little bit of an aesthetic touch.
And tell me
with
the
the
name
dye.
again. What's the name of this?
Intemporel,
Both
timeless.
of them are
Yes.
intemporel.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
It's
okay.
the
Just
same.
one dyed.
It's just dyed.
Just dyed.
That's
Okay,
all.
thank
But
you.
it's beautiful. Me, I like
It
to
is
look at my
pretty.
shoes, and this is what I do in life, actually.
And you can't get that in raw wood. You have it. This finish, it's standard finish, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. But me, I like to put this in black shoes or in.
yeah,
it's beautiful.
good. That's
You know,
good.
it looks beautiful. It's just for your own pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. This, but it's beautiful to have. So that's the second one. Show me the rest.
After the difference, this one is even more round. So this is more like for para boots. Or
Okay.
For, other that are
You
a
mean-
bit
you mean-
wider.
Chunky shoes, we call it chunky.
Chunky.
C'est un peu lourd, quoi.
Yeah.
Comme le
Exactly.
paraboot. With the
So-
paraboot is a very good example.
This one is definitely for a brand that has wider shoes, because it's quite, so we can see the difference between both. It's really wider.
Is this functional
No, right.
or aesthetic?
So this one, both. But after, if you ask the difference between this one and this one in terms of handles, is the same function.
Yes.
One is all wood. So now we want to, this is more sustainable as
Yes.
also,
Okay.
because this is so this is what we offer, but also this is more traditional way of having this little handle, metallic. It has always been like that for a long time.
So those two are for round shoes, also chunky shoes, right?
Exactly.
This one, yeah.
And after
And this one,
this
this is
one,
beautiful.
which is much thinner.
Yeah, for chisel shoes.
Exactly. So
Show me. This is very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an official announcement. This is what we were all waiting for. When you don't buy, which is a mistake, when you don't buy your shoe trees, when you buy your shoes, we all had the problem to say, I want to buy a generic shoe tree, but I'm not sure the shape will fit to my shoes. And now you have the choice. You have here a round last, and you have here a chisel last. And I can tell you the feeling is really good. It's beech trees also, beech tree, and it's really good quality. You can feel. And just as an example, how much would this cost on your website? Just to have an idea.
The website, so the free models we just chose is between 95 euros and 105 euros.
Between 95, so around
That's
100
about the
basically.
same, yeah.
Well, I must add something on that. I know many people would say, oh my God, 95 to 100, sometimes it's almost as expensive as a pair of shoes. No, ladies and gentlemen, a good pair of shoes will start around, I would say, 250 to have something reasonable. But even if you buy shoes at this kind of price, normally add a shoe tree, because you can say to yourself, oh, it's an extra cost. No, it's not an extra cost. In the long run, after 2 or 3 years, believe me, having a shoe tree will maintain your shoes. The first gesture you have to do each time you go home, and I've been telling this to my wife so many times, each time she goes home, she's laughing because we have a little fight again. Then because I'm very, very, very precise on that, is that each time I remove my shoe, I put directly the shoe tree. Yeah. Why? Because when there's a lot of sweat in it, this is the moment where the wood will do its job. And after 1 hour, 2 hours, normally the perspiration has been taken off of the shoe. And then after, it has a function to maintain the shape of the leather inside and to tense it a little bit, so that it's very important. So for us, yes?
I would add, a little thing. You have a hole here. Yes. That also can allows the shoe to still breathe.
Exactly.
And here. Even here, if we see that there is a scoop.
Yeah. A little bit scoop here.
So in order to also make it lighter. Yes. And
so this is a beautiful product, and I was saying that we were all waiting for that, because at last now, please, ladies and gentlemen, invest in good shoe trees. If you didn't buy your shoe trees at your shoe retailer, you can buy them at SAPHIR, and this is absolute great quality. It's believe me, even the touch and it's wonderfully made, and it has been made here at Perfecta, which is at the SAPHIR Group now, who has an experience of more than a century of doing this. So this is the right place, and you also do for boots.
Exactly. So we do shoetrees. So this is even more special, because it's something that you don't find in the market, because unfortunately boots, you have always a friction on the top and and this is not taken care of. And with a cedar shoetree, it would be good. It would affect and diminish a little here, but it won't have an effect on the top and maintaining the whole part above.
Because creases are a big problem sometimes with boots, and so that's covering the area that normally creases.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, wow. And this one will be 105, I suppose? Yes?
150, yes.
150. 150. 150. Oh, so it ranged from 95 to 150.
Yeah, so when I said this, it was for the free
okay.
We
so the low shoes are from 95 to 105, is that correct?
Yes.
And for the boots, it's 150.
Yeah.
Of course, but same thing, darling. It's very important to maintain your boots, to have this kind of stuff. And so now it is available. So for the moment, you offer the round shoes, the round shoes with a dye process in gray. Then for the chunky shoes, a little bit more like paraboot or this kind of shoes. For more chiseled shoes, let's say Italian shoes, even if it's a little bit of a shortcut. And then for boots also. And I suppose you have other ideas of development to go for the future?
Yeah, definitely. So first, a good thing is that for the shoetrees, it lasts for life. We can see that, for example, luxury brands do and say to have a heritage of the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw someone in a shop, a young man, giving his pair of his father, saying, "Can I restore it? Is it possible?" And the shop said, "Yes, of course. You can restore it." And so you have this whole engagement between the father and the son. And with the shoetrees, it's something that lasts forever if it's a good quality. So,
of course.
And it lives with the shoe as well, which is something that goes together. And I think it's a good thing, that's a good match between them. Yeah. And the step forward is actually sneaker shoetrees.
This is crazy. He showed me some very important American brand that starts with an N, but we're not going to say it. And so this is for sneakers.
Exactly.
So
sneakers.
Yes.
It's the first time I've ever seen a sneaker shoe.
Yes, me too.
So,
you see for sneakers, yeah.
And so the same for sneakers. There is wider sneakers, thinner.
Yeah.
So yet it's not available, but soon we will make it under
So you're
SAPHIR.
working on that, okay?
Yes.
You know that in sneakers, ladies and gentlemen, there's something really interesting is happening. Back in the years when, I would say a decade ago, we were with Sonya saying, "Oh my gosh, everybody is wearing these stupid sneakers, in plastic and petrol, and we want to advocate for good leather and real shoes." And I've been telling so many young people, you have to try real leather shoes. But and so we thought that the style and the leather will go into the drain and everybody will wear sneakers. Well, something happened very interesting, I would say 10 years ago, where the shoe industry, the traditional shoemakers, they were obliged to look at the sneaker side because otherwise they would have gone bankrupt. But what they did was very clever, is that more and more of these brands are producing leather sneakers. And our world has been infusing in the world of sneakers much more than the reverse. That is to say, now even me, I'm wearing very chic sneakers in leather, etc., etc. And second thing is that 2 years ago, not many, I would say premium brands of sneakers started to offer to their customer to resole the sneakers. That is to say, at last, a sneaker is becoming a long-lasting shoe, not something that you're going to throw away after 2 or 3 seasons. And so this is why, and so the last step was to create a shoe tree for the sneakers. Yes, and you are working on that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we work already with different brands with this project, but we are going to launch through our name as well, SAPHIR, the sneakers shoe tree. Yes. Because we think that sneakers also especially on the top part, are making this bend like every shoes, because you are walking in excess, and putting it in a shoe allows people to really have something really smooth and perfect. Maybe not for the sole because it's rubber, but for the top part, definitely it would have a big impact. And
so for the audience, can you just review what the models are according to what they might prefer to buy?
Yes, sure. So this is the most standard one, called intemporal. So with the hook that is all wood. After you have you have the dyed one, which is exactly the same, but with a special color for more dark shoes, I would say, in my preference. And after you have a round shape that is more for chunky shoes, a bit more large, and this is the traditional shoe tree with the knob, and then you have the classic model that is without split, that is much thinner, with a knob, and you have also a bigger scoop due to the fact that there is no split with...
Give it to me back, because for me,
hole.
I will be a customer of this one.
And this is called?
This is called?
This is the classic.
The classic for classic shoes. The reason I prefer this, ladies and gentlemen, is just because it will fit practically all of my shoes. So of course, you understand me, I have a lot of bespoke shoes and made-to-measure shoes, so I have the shoe trees. But I can spot in my closet, I would say probably 10 pairs. I have a lot of pairs, probably more than 100, but maybe 10 pairs on which I could really use this. And feel safe about it. And it's something that is, I'm very happy that at last we can have this kind of equipment available directly, even if you don't have to go to a store to have this, you can have this directly by SAPHIR. SAPHIR, as far as I understand, because SAPHIR is, has taken over Perfecta, but we know that SAPHIR in the shoe care industry is very well known for his focusing on sustainability. Is it the same here at Perfecta? I suppose yes.
Yes.
Explain to us why.
So first, the main difference is that where we supply, our supply are from France and Italy, which is really close from our factory in Limoges.
Yes.
So only a few kilometers away. And we get those material from there. We manufacture everything here. So when we manufacture it here, we have some machines that absorb all the waste.
Yes.
That it goes to a silo. We say it in France. So in French, so it's outside the factory. There is a place where we store all this wood dust. And this wood dust after is transformed into energy to heat the factory all winter.
You mean you reuse your waste wood to produce energy for the factory?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
So this is what differentiates. So first, it's good for the employees to not have in the air compared to our Chinese or Indian competitors.
As a health risk, that goes away.
Exactly, because the dust gets into the farms and is getting a lot of trouble for health, especially on the long run. And so this dust is extracted and we get energy from it.
That's excellent. Excellent.
Exactly.
And I think you received is the Perfecta also received the label Entreprise du patrimoine vivant in France or not?
Yes.
Yes. So I will translate. Entreprise du patrimoine vivant. It's something which is very French, but we love this. It's you are audited by some people. They want to check if you are either preserving gestures or craftsmanship that is disappearing. So when you protect this kind of craftsmanship, you receive this label. And so it's very precise. You have to be in terms of sustainability, in terms of traditional gestures, in terms of how things should be done according to the exact gospel of the discipline. So it's called EPV, Entreprise du patrimoine vivant. And it's something which is very important for us. It's like, for example, an appellation of origin for a wine is the same. It's really to protect a know-how and something that without this, without people like you, would disappear, literally. And this is exactly what you did, because as far as I understand, 10 years ago, when you decided to acquire Perfecta needed some new energy, to say the least, in order to continue developing, because we were living in the world where the shoe industry was a little bit challenged by all this sneaker invasion. This is why I'm happy that you can also crack for these people. And this is why places like that are very important for all the people who are loving shoes like us. And it's very refreshing for us and very interesting to see that there are still people who are doing this job the way it should be done. You want to add something, darling?
I was just wondering, we walked upstairs earlier and we saw some auxiliary products that are being made. And I just wondered if you wanted to tell us about it, because it was curiosity.
You mean the little leather goods, right?
Yes.
We saw. So that is to say, I saw some pouches and saw some carpet for shoe care. I saw something. So does it mean that in Perfecta you also craft the accessories of SAPHIR?
Yes, exactly. So actually we have a little atelier,
Yes.
de maroquinerie, so leather workshop in French. And they craft all the leather goods and accessories we have in SAPHIR Médaille d'Or range.
Yes.
So, and all the details even people don't think about. So it could be in our kit, big box, wooden box. We do the handles, we do the little leather to open those boxes.
Yes.
Or we can do the shoe horn, the glove. So a polishing glove. So
Are we able to buy that on the website eventually?
also, yeah.
Oh, it's on the website now?
Yes,
Or it will be?
Yes, it is on the website.
It's there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
So, and a lot of people don't know that it's made in France, and with this also heritage company, we work with a lot of big brands as well for this craftsmanship also in leathers.
Of course.
So yeah.
That's great. How
Nice.
many people are working here in Perfecta?
12.
12 people.
Yeah.
And so I think we are touching the end of this program. Well, honestly, me, as long as I'm, Sonya can testify, as long as I'm in the shoe industry, in some shoe atelier, I like the wood, I like everything here, and I think this is fantastic. In France, we will call it the dernier des Mohicans, the last of the Mohicans. You know, these are people who are really working hard to keep something alive. And this is why I am so happy that Perfecta still exists. It was founded in the late 19th century, correct? And so they're still here, doing well. They are providing for a lot of luxury brands. But now, ladies and gentlemen, you can even buy directly from them shoe trees made out of French trees. So extraordinary sustainability, made of quality trees and not like the cedar trees you can find overseas. And for, let's say, around €100 or $110, something like that, you can give the best treatment you can to your beloved shoes. And this is something that is very, very important for your shoes, but also for you, because you will see that a shoe tree like that, it's a beautiful object. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Katia. I hope you enjoyed this little program about Perfecta. Remember Perfecta, and it will be sold under the name SAPHIR. We're going to put the link in the description. And of course, I give you an appointment to the next episode of Sartorial Talk. We're going to look at this center camera and we say bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Thank you.